Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast. I'll screen that quickly there. There you go. So you can invite your face. As you can see, I'm joined by Melvin. Sammy's on his way as well. Yeah, we've had a bit more development today, as everyone knows. But also, I wanted to get Sam and Melvin's thoughts on this Super League. And as I say, that Sam's just joining us backstage. There he is.
Evening, Mel. Ryan.
Yeah, I know everyone can see by the logo, the thumbnail I did, and obviously the background. You can see we used that as well for the background. But I mean, it's been 30 plus years in the making, guys, and it still doesn't make it any nicer, any easier to have it soak in, because it does seem like this time it is for real. It's going to happen now. All 12 clubs so far have deactivated their membership to the Europe, being a competitive team in Europe, basically European competition. And now UEFA have come back and saying they're looking into removing us, United, from Europa League automatically as we speak. United, City, Chelsea, and Madrid as well, and giving PSG the title. It's going to be it's getting messy, and it's not going to get any easier by the looks of it. I mean, Sam, what was your? I mean, you've had 24 hours to have this all sort of sink in. What your thoughts on all this? And do you actually think, like me, this is the beginning of the end, basically?
Well, yeah, it's a real it's a real head shrinker, isn't it? I mean, it really is. It just came out of the blue like that yesterday, and that's what I find so shocking. Really, is how much of a shock it was yesterday. It just came out of the blue like that. There was no rumours going, for a few weeks or things like that, like you normally get with big events. There's always rumours and that, but it just came out of nowhere last night. And by that I mean that they actually had everything set up, ready to go. Of course, like you say, this has been a long time forewarned. There was back in 2005, Perez, the president then at that time as well. He was president at Real Madrid. He wanted to start a breakaway Super League then. He had a few teams interested already back then. So, this has been a long time coming, because this is what they want. This is their way of grabbing a lot more money and getting all those television rights, all that money for themselves, and just getting at such a much bigger part of the cake. That it's such a big brand now. Football, the clubs are brands. The competition will be a brand, and it's them grabbing all the money in and wanting to get it for themselves. And a huge shock, but at the same time, shouldn't really be a surprise. We have seen it coming, and but just to come like this now, and everything just all sorted, and they just seem to be ready to go from August and all of this, a huge shock. And in terms of being the end of football as we know it, I don't think we're going to see the clubs being kicked out of the competitions and the Premier League and everything, because without these clubs, those competitions don't really exist. They're the absolute biggest crowd draws, and the reason the money exists in those leagues and the competitions. So without them, they're going to be in a bit of a predicament. And I think this is the calculated gamble that the big clubs are taking, because they know that they are worth more than what everyone thinks they are. That the leagues need them more than they need the leagues. Basically, that's the way it is.
I tell you what you're saying, and also I love the hypocrisy from UEFA as well in the after 24 hours, because this is out of all the times we've heard about it over the years, UEFA have always been involved in trying to put it together. Back in the summer, there's rumours of this going back in the summer. Project Bigger Picture, they branded it, and UEFA were involved then. They were headrunning it then. It seems that because this time they're not being involved. It's sort of the clubs have gone independent of their own accord. Basically, UEFA are pissed off.
Yeah, it's a way of grabbing everything for themselves. They don't have to worry about anyone else. They can set their own rules, do what they want. All the money goes to them. They set up how the money gets distributed. It's just leaving out the middleman. That's what it's doing. It's creating creating a big spectacle, a huge money making spectacle, and they're cutting out the middleman. That's UEFA. That's what they're doing. And UEFA, like you say, UEFA, what a bunch of hypocrites. Where have they been? Where have they been the last 30 years? They've been sleeping at the wheel. Financial fair play. Do one. Financial fair play was absolutely crap. It never worked.
And I don't know if you've seen the memes on social media as well, but there's literally there's a meme of when racism rears its ugly head, basically UEFA dead quiet. Bruce Banner in the last Avengers film, when he turned into the mix of both. When the clubs go independent and go their own way and leave UEFA out, Hulk from Ragnarok, and they go absolutely ape shit.
Yeah, it's a bit hypocritical, isn't it? It really is. And like you say, with racism, that doesn't seem to care much about racism. Financial fair play was just half-hearted. Financial fair play was just half-hearted. And now when they see they're actually going into their own league, that's it. They're going into meltdown mode because they're going to lose all their money. That's what they're going to do. Who wants to see Club Bruges play? Bloody, I don't know, Celta Vigo. I mean, no one's going to want that. It's not a spectacle, is it?
No. And also I think what's in terms of the actual format of this Super League as well had a bit of a backlash as well, because there's no relegation. It's literally you're competing to win it, and that's it. The teams that have formatted into it, that have founded it, they do not. There's never relegation. There'll be every year 5 different teams coming into as guests every year. They do well in their own domestic leagues.
Basically,
and all that.
you qualify through apparently league performance or something like that. I don't know exactly the details there, but apparently they've signed a 23-year contract for this Super League, and so they can't be touched for 23 years. The founding clubs. So it's just what they wanted, right? You got all the money and no worry about relegation, and you got an everlasting Champions League. That's what we wanted, right? That's what we're in the Champions League forever now.
Yeah, because also before they made the official statement late last night, I was literally on stream and they were fucking delaying it for over an hour and a half. But initially, up till then, it was basically made out by Sky and all that this is the clubs are breaking away, and they wanted to lead the Premier League. They wanted to form this league itself. It's to be a league format. And when you look at it, it's like no, it's literally like the independent version of the Champions League without the UEFA branding.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It is. It's meant to go parallel to the UEFA competitions, and it's meant to basically say we want our own cup or our own league competition, European league competition set up like this is the way we want it. It's going to go parallel to the UEFA competitions, and also it's they want it to go midweek and they still want to take part in the domestic leagues. That's what they've said. They said they don't want to leave the domestic leagues. They still want to take part in the domestic league. So there's so much money going in it now. There's going to be billions and billions going in when they make the TV deals and all that, and it all starts to take shape. There's going to be a hell of a lot of money running through it, and I think they'll come to an agreement with UEFA, and they come to an agreement with all the different football associations, and the money's going to trickle down on them. That's what's going to happen. The FA and all these different, La Liga, Serie A, they're going to get some of the money as as part of the agreement. That they can exist and do that as long as they get some of the money, and that'll be money that funnels down through the system to the smaller clubs.
I mean, Melvin, obviously, I want to ask your thoughts on this as well, because not just in the sort of backlash from not just our fan base, but the other fan bases involved, but even outside of the ones that have not been invited in this inclusive club. Like tonight, for example, Leeds fans, there's not loads of them, but a few turned up outside, very ready and waiting for Liverpool, and basically gave them four, basically. Also, I don't know if you saw as well, Klopp did his pre-match interview, and he basically damned his owners, his bosses. He put them out publicly, said, they've asked me about this before, and I've said, no, but they still did it, so what can I do?
Well, also, I found something else that I actually find very, very strange and very shocking and Klopp actually said it today in that interview, that no one was made aware of this until it was public. He wasn't told. The players weren't told. None of the players or key personnel were told until it was public. I mean, how can you do that? How can you do that?
Even I think it was Charles Watts today put a tweet saying literally Arteta and our players from Arsenal didn't know that meeting was literally then last minute organised with between Vinay and the players, and obviously Arteta, to actually tell them what the plan was and why they've done this, that, and the other, and why they weren't told in the first place. Because we saw yesterday what they've done at Solskjaer, as the news was really seeping through after their game. He had no idea what was going on. Ferguson had no idea. He was asked about it. He had no idea. And he's part of the board.
Yeah. No, they've been really clever with this. Really clever.
But yeah, sorry, Melvin.
Right. First of all, this is the best kept secret about anything, isn't it? If we've been doing this for months, and this hasn't been, it might be spoken about, whispered, if you like, but nothing concrete at all. This is a very, very well kept secret. And I feel surprised you think that the players weren't told. And let's face it, just look at our own club. If there's a bit of grief in the dressing room, it comes out in the press 2 minutes later. So I'm not completely surprised the players aren't trusted. I'm not just talking about Arsenal, I'm talking about any players, right? That will come out within 2 minutes on Sky News, all right? That's a fact.
Yeah.
I was under them. I got it wrong. I thought, when I first heard about it last night, that they would actually break away and not play in the Premier League anymore.
That's
So
how it
basically,
was initially, yeah.
Yeah. So now the form is that they're going to play in the Premier League like any other club, like they are. But they're going to play each team twice, is it? Home and away? One?
Home and, yeah. Basically,
the place of the European competition. Is that right?
Yes.
Basically, yeah. Basically,
well, if it's that, it's not as bad as what I first thought. And first of all, if it is a bad thing, I'm a bit like, I think Sam's in the same boat as me. I don't feel sorry for UEFA. They've messed up so many times on so many different levels, and nobody can tell them what to do. They're their own masters, and that's not good for football, and not good for anything actually. For letting one body be what's that expression? Unaccountable.
Yeah.
If we're going to see, I don't think it would have. It's very difficult. This thing, the real bug point is that you can't get out of this 12 once you're in it. This exclusive club. How did they choose these 12 clubs? Not on present playing. Arsenal shouldn't be in it. Most certainly Spurs shouldn't be in it for the last 60 years. So how they've chosen it, I don't know.
Apparently, apparently Stan Kroenke's like best buds with the Real Madrid president, and that's how that sort of came about. That's why we're sort of involved, I'm assuming.
Right. But I think that we are a big name, but we're not a great football team at the moment. We haven't been for some time. Haven't won the league for 14 years. So, as I say, for us to qualify, it's on name alone, as they say. I think that if it is a bad thing, and I'm not sure yet. I mean, I've slightly changed my view on hearing that we still will be playing Everton's and West Ham's in the next few years.
Well,
if that is the case, and people still don't think it's good, as I say, I feel sorry for the fans and not UEFA. They can, as far as I'm concerned, no respect for them at all. It's quite, who came out with it was Carlton Cole came out with that thing tonight about Black Lives Matter, about racism in football.
Yeah.
And he made that point. But when we're talking about racism in football, someone says a shocking racist remark, he gets a 10-match ban. What's all that about? What is all that about? And yet, when this comes out, they're all over it, UEFA. It's on telly, the news.
There's shit on it, yeah.
All over it. You know what I mean? As I say, all over it. Well, everyone, all hands to the pump, UEFA. Get it out there. Get the PR machine working. Put oil in the machine. Put petrol in the machine. We'll get this out there. With racism, it's like, well, yeah, it's bad. And what we do, what they might do, I reckon, UEFA, if it gets really bad with racism, they'll probably make them kneel half time as well before they kick off, because they don't actually do anything. That kneeling has got no real effect. So I don't believe a nasty racist will look at the players kneeling and go, you know what, they're kneeling. I'm not going to be a racist anymore. That is not the way you stop it. All right, that is
No.
not the way you stop it.
No,
I
not
just
at all.
think also, I think there's more chance of happening now than I did 24 hours ago because of the idea that we're still going to be playing 38 league games next season. But if ever, for whatever reason, it doesn't happen, what's it going to be like for those 6 clubs when they play in the league against the other 14 clubs going forward? It's going to be a nightmare. And Sam doesn't agree with me on this, but I think we've been harshly dealt sometimes with decisions. If we get a bad decision, Sam, we could turn and go, "Oh, it's because we were going to go out the league. That's why they've done that to us." And it may not be a bad decision for that reason at all. It may just be refs made a mistake or something. Right? In your mind, every decision that's made, people go, "Oh, you know what that is. You know what that wasn't given." You know, and that could be going forward. So it's a horrible situation. Great. The secret was amazing the way it was kept. And I can't. Alex Ferguson about it. I mean, that is amazing. I'm obviously not shocked about the players. But Alex Ferguson not being told about that. I mean, come on.
They've kept it very tight. They've kept it very tight right at the top. It's only been the people right at the top, and that's it. They've kept their mouth shut all the way through. They haven't told anyone throughout the club. Because, like you said, Melvin, if anyone further down in the chain had been told, it would have been everywhere, wouldn't it? It would have been news everywhere for weeks. So they've kept it really tight.
You don't think what happened? How long is the agreement for? You said 23 years one way.
23 years is the initial. Yeah.
Is it a two-way agreement, though, Sam? Have they got the beginning of 23 years, the clubs, or not?
I'm not sure about the details. I haven't seen the details. I just saw it was. Yeah.
I'll tell you why I'm asking that question. Is that I think if they go through with this, I think that the television rights will be worth so much to the big company. Who's the company that's going to do all the television rights, isn't it? Not going to be Sky, is it? It's going to be a third end, something I've never heard of before.
It's going to be a bidding war. There's going to be a bidding war because whoever gets the rights for this is going to make a shitload of money.
I thought it was a company always I've never heard of mentioned to take it all over. No, am I wrong?
There was mentioned as a potential buyer of the rights, but I think there's going to be a bidding war. I think there's going to be a bidding war between all the big names.
This is what I think. If this European thing takes off and it's worth a lot of money, television rights, it explodes for whatever reason. All the Asia and Africa all of a sudden get involved more than they would do in a league match to watch Arsenal win Milan for some reason, and it takes off. I reckon in a few years' time when they can do it, the 12 will go, right, we've tested the water, there's a market here, sod this company, we're not going to sign any more contracts, we do it ourselves. Right? Because if you've got 20 million or 50 million or whatever, and you charge them £1 a game, it's a lot of money, isn't it, per year? I mean, you can charge them a lot more. You're talking silly money, aren't you? Why give it to the company? Let's do it ourselves, as I say. Either singularly or do it as a 12 clubs and split it 12 ways. They would make so much more money. And also, at the moment, they're not, apart from their losing, everyone's going to go at these clubs for selling out, they're not going to lose anything financially. They're going to gain on it. So what a great thing. You're testing something that you might use in 5 or 10 years' time to your advantage. And not only is it not costing you a penny, you're getting paid for it. So that's what a wonderful position to be in.
Yeah, I mean, also got, I don't know if you've heard, but the Premier League have called a meeting between themselves and the other 14 clubs tomorrow morning to discuss where to go from here, because there's basically, they want to know the 14 clubs want the FA, the Premier League itself, to fight to keep us in the domestic league, because obviously UEFA have been trying to roll an iron fist and say, no, if you go, that's it, you're out of that competition, you're out of that competition, you're out of that competition.
They can't keep us out of the league, though, can they? The Premier League, surely. That's
how they're talking at the moment. That's how UEFA are talking at the moment.
Excuse me, can I just interrupt there for a second? If there's no more European football, UEFA's are toothless. If they put 2 fingers up, if Premier League put 2 fingers up,
this is what I'm saying.
At UEFA, they'll lose nothing, because what they've got UEFA, they've got no teams to play in Europe. They might get
it's like I was saying last night when there was rumours about, obviously, well, before this all officially came out, that was a breakaway thing. I mean, I said, I think of all the things, Sky, if anything, will put pressure on the Premier League not to kick us out of the Premier League, the 6 teams, because financially it doesn't. If our 6 teams are out of it, they're going to lose the revenue, because fans, even not just fans of our clubs respectively, our 6 clubs, but the neutrals that want to tune in occasionally for the neutral, like big game of North London derby, or Arsenal Man United, or Manchester City versus United, or Man United Liverpool, things like that. There's not that pool anymore. And when you've got like Barnsley versus Leeds, it's not the same. But it's a derby, but it's not the same pool as it is. And also, you've got the fact of, if that was the case, whoever then goes on to win the league the following next few seasons, they'll be like, oh yes, you'll have the naysayers go, oh, it's great you've won the league, yeah, oh great. It's like you've only done that because you forced out the top 6 when things got tough, and you didn't like it because you weren't invited. And
but when it comes to the UEFA, the European competitions, there's no way they can kick out. They're just empty threats. That's what they are. They're sore. They're sore at the moment. They're hurting. They're like a sore ex-wife at the moment. And they're just really hurting, and because they can't kick this in, because from a legal standpoint, they'll be sued for billions from the television companies. They have a contract to deliver these games and to deliver, according to their contract, the spectacle of the Champions League, all these teams and all these games. And if you remove the teams, you remove the games, they're gonna be liable to have to pay compensation, huge amounts of money in compensation. The same for Sky in the Premier League. Sky can sue the Premier League for breach of contract if they kick out the 6 teams. So legally, there's so much money tied up into this. If they kick the teams out, they're going to lose so much money, be liable to such huge lawsuits. They can't do it. They can't kick out the teams. There's no way they can do it.
There's also rumours that the cup final this Sunday could be called off, because obviously the 2 teams in it, or 2 of the 4 that are, so they say they are part of the 6 that are part of the Super League next season. And again, it's UEFA saying it, or it's like, why? Why can't the Premier League? Why can't the Premier League, our own domestic setup, make their own minds up? It is up to the Premier League. The final decision is up to the Premier League, but I think UEFA can tell them that's what they would like to happen. But UEFA don't rule over the Premier League. It's UEFA as a European body that lie above the Premier League. They can come with certain rule changes and things like that, but they can't decide over what happens in the Premier League. That's what the Premier League decides. That's what that board decides. But of course, they can come with their what they want, the decision they would like to see, and their ideas and their meanings. But they can't decide for the Premier League. No, they can decide at the European level what happens at the European competitions. Yeah, I mean, Stefan's saying here as well. He's saying Celtic and Rangers will join as well at some point. At some point down the line, if this Super League does fully go ahead now, and after say 4 years, it's really kicking on. It's like something's still there. The format will change, as in how they're doing it at the moment. That will change, and they'll to allow more clubs to be involved.
Oh, probably, yeah, probably. It will expand probably, and they'll split it up into different divisions. Right now they're saying it's going to be two divisions of 2 sections of 10, or 2 groups basically, 2 groups of 10 playing each other, home and away, and then so you got 9. You'll have 9. You'll have 18 games basically, because you're playing 9 other teams home and away, and then the top 3. I think it's the top 3 go into an automatic playoff. No, sorry, they go automatically into the quarterfinals, and then the 4th team plays a playoff to get into the extra quarterfinal place.
Matches? Can they afford to play all these matches? These clubs.
Well, they won't play
the League Cup, then, will they?
That's why it started in August. That's why it started in August.
And basically, because of how they're doing it as well, all founders of this league all received over £300 million or billion, whatever it is, just
over what period of time?
just for turning up, basically, just for being a founder. So it's financially, the financial aspect is not a problem. And also,
Wow.
when you look, who's actually, is it JB Morgan is funding the whole thing.
JP Morgan's got six billion invested in it. There's going to be other investors. There's going to be other investors involved, and they've already been promised. All the founder clubs have already been promised. It's about £350 million each they're getting, just for joining, just for being part of it.
Just going,
I wonder why our owner wanted to join. I can't get my head around it.
Well, this is what he's been waiting for. This is what he's been waiting for. This guy is not stupid. This is what he's been waiting for. He knew this was in the car. He knew this was on the cards. He knew this was in waiting, and that's it. He's now got his cash cow. It's going to be huge. So much money going through this. It's his cash cow. And what do billionaires do? What are billionaires good at? They're good at spending other people's money. They don't spend their own money. They spend other people's money, and this is what they're going to be doing now.
Yeah, I mean, we've got gaming in it. I'm not going to try pronounce the first part of the name, but he says, I think every team should be banned. If not, I will be mad because they will basically signed up to leave, and that's unacceptable. Sorry. If they want to come back, they need to start in a lower division. So the thing is, they haven't signed up to leave. That's the thing. When the official statement came out, it was based. The format is it's a competition to go toe to toe the Champions League, and basically over time, out the Champions League and make it no more. And UEFA. That's why UEFA are kicking off, because it threatens their competition into non-existence if this becomes successful, which initially it will be, because obviously you've got the big boys playing against each other. No, what we think about apart from Tottenham, obviously, I don't get why Tottenham been invited. Don't get it, because they haven't won anything. They haven't won any titles.
It's because you can see a very clear correlation between the teams involved and the most valuable teams in the world. Yeah. Tottenham are just behind us in terms of actual club value. And that's why they're there. That's why they're there. They're worth a lot of money because of the stadium, the property, all the, they're actually worth Tottenham, even though they haven't won fuck all. They're actually worth a lot of money, and that's what counts. It's their value.
Yeah, their value is one thing, Sam, but they're nearly in a lot of trouble financially.
They've got a lot of debt.
They're worth. After they sell off what they're worth, what they're left with. After the debt goes back, not a lot.
Probably not.
That's a lifeline.
That's why Levy's in. That's why Levy's in full tilt. Definitely. Yeah, of course. He gets all the money out of this.
Yeah. Just to go back briefly to the comment I was before. Literally, once the official statement came out, it was basically saying we're not leaving our domestic leagues. We want to stay in our domestic leagues, obviously, and compete as you would do in a normal season. This is just this competition is just a competition. A new branded idea without the name of UEFA Champions League. It's hence why it's called the European Super League, is because obviously copyright and all that crap. It's basically that, but a different format as well, just to see how it goes. And as I said, if successful, they will then look down a few years down the line and go, okay, we're going to bring more teams in and change the format and do it and be like, we'll have what we have in the Champions League at the moment, in the sense of the first round will be like 8 groups of 4, for example. And then you play in them groups of that. In every group, you'd have to play the other 3 teams twice, and then you go into the knockout rounds, and then go from that.
But there's no relegation, so you'll have the same 8 teams or 10 teams in the same league every year, won't you? That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's going to be the same 12 teams every year. Yeah.
Yeah, Arsenal will never not be in it because we're a fan of that.
But there's going to be 5 teams. There's going to be 5. It's going to be. There's going to be. Eventually, it's going to be. They say there's going to be 3 more founding clubs that they're going to agree on. So there's going to be 15 founding clubs, and then there's going to be 5 other clubs that basically be invited in for the first year, and those 5 clubs can be relegated, or I don't know. I haven't worked out all the details, but basically 5 clubs that aren't the founders can be relegated, and then another 5 teams can come in based on merit. So there will be 5 clubs that rotate or go in and out every season. But basically there'll be 15 clubs that never change. They'll always be there for 23 years is the agreement so far. And that's what I've been saying. It's going to get boring. I mean, how many times are you going to play Real Madrid, Barcelona, AC Milan, Juventus? how many times you're going to play them every season? You're going to get bored of it, right? So there's not going to be any. There's not going to be any novelty in it anymore, is there?
No,
You
exactly.
only play twice a season, though, Sam.
Plus,
Won't you?
you could be twice a season.
Yeah, twice a
Premier
season,
League,
but
you
every
Premier
season.
League games.
But also,
You're
you've got to
not
play
play more than twice a season.
You're initially playing home and away in the group stage, like whatever other 9 teams you're in the group with. But you could face one of them.
Yeah,
Obviously,
face them,
depends on one of the teams later on in the semi-final or the final itself. But it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to get.
You know
Yeah,
what?
I mean, we got
Too much
bored.
football,
To be honest,
TV.
we got bored of playing Bayern Munich and fucking Barcelona every fucking knockout round in the last few years of our time in the Champions League, because it's every first knockout round Barcelona. Oh no,
Yeah, but that's because they beat us.
But it's just got boring though. It's just repetitive. It's like, give us something different. Gave us something different. We still got fucking knocked out by Monaco, for fuck's sake. Oh dear, but yeah, UEFA only kicking. So like you guys said, I've got no sympathy with UEFA anyway. But the fact is, the only reason they're kicking off is because the format is basically pretty similar to their new format in 2024 that they're trying to bring in. They've announced today.
And they're going to lose all their money. That's what they're worried about. They're going to lose all their television money, all their sponsorship money. It's all going to go out the window. That's what they're worried about. They're worried about losing their money. They don't give two shits about the integrity of the game, because you can see what they've been doing. Financial fair play. It's been nothing.
You're gone, Melvin.
So if we play, for example, Manchester United, if we play home and away in this European,
In the group
League,
side of it, yeah.
so we've got to play them another twice in
You
the
could
league
do.
as well.
In the league as well. We've got to play them in the league, yeah.
So there's 4 times we're going to play them.
Yep.
4 times United, 4 times City, 4 times Chelsea, 4 times Spurs.
It depends on how they split up. It depends on how they split up the groups. There's going to be 2 groups of 10.
Yeah.
There's going to be 2 groups of 10.
Yeah.
Right.
But basically,
But we will be
playing 4 times this year.
Yeah, there will be certain clubs, English clubs, because if they split up 3 and 3, right? Because there's 6 English clubs. So if they split them 3 and 3 equally, we will be playing 2 of the other major clubs twice a year, as well as in the league.
Yeah.
And if we might play one of them in the FA Cup.
And league.
If the cups and all that, if we're still in that, if we're still in the cups as well,
Jesus Christ, I could play 6-7 times, depending on they get to semis and 2-leg ties and all that malarkey.
Well, like I said before, on somewhere I put out rather, we've got to change our Arsenal Incorporated.
Also, it's cronky, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the Liverpool fan, Man United fans, a few Arsenal fans as well, going to respective stadiums today, putting banners outside, basically get out of our club, rest in peace to the club. It is that the other year it's been founded till obviously this year. I can understand it, because it's going to get messy. And it just seems like it is just the big go on Leeds. Leeds just scored 1-0. I don't want Liverpool to win after what's come out. I don't want Liverpool to win anyway. I don't even feel comfortable doing a watch along on Friday. I'm at that mindset, Joe.
But the thing is, right? This is the point. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry, literally, because I was thinking about. I was out today and I was just sitting down for a bit, and I was thinking about my entire life. I'm gone on 32. And I've always wanted to say my team's won the European Cup. With this going ahead, that's never going to happen now.
No.
You're exactly right, Ryan. That was a dream of mine as well, to maybe one day in my lifetime actually see Arsenal win the Champions League, because that's the trophy above all trophies. That's the one, and it's a damn shame now that we won't be able to win it, because of course there will be no more Champions League for us. It's just going to be this Super League, and it's a real shame. But a point I wanted to make though is, if you guys think about it, we are really pissed off with our clubs and everything, but really it's just the owners we should be pissed off with, because no one else has been part of this.
Yeah, that's my.
No one else has been part of this.
Hence why my thumbnail has got our guy, Silent Stan, Abramovich, one of the Glazers. Don't know who it is, but it's one of them. And John Henry, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Henry.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool's guy, because obviously I couldn't be bothered to get the other fucking Daniel Levy and all that fucking malarkey, but I've got them 4 basic, because it's them. they've spearheaded this behind the scenes, kept it quiet, kept it between themselves, and it is them with their greed. Because they get enough. Let's be honest, without this Super League, they'd still get enough money from the Premier League revenue anyway. Even if they fit it, because you get relegated, you get more than what you would do winning the Champions League. That's not including obviously normal circumstances, match day revenue and all that as well. The normal circumstances.
Well, money talks, don't it?
Yeah.
Sam, you said
As
earlier
always.
that the money will be coming down to the FA. The money will coming down to the lower leagues.
I can. That's what I can see. I can.
I'd like it to be true.
No, the thing is, Melvin. The thing is, I think that is what's going to, in my personal opinion. And again, this of course is not confirmed anywhere. Even though a couple of people I've seen have also mentioned the same thing. I can see the agreement coming between the FA and the different football associations with this Super League is going to be they're going to accept that the clubs stay on the premise that they get some part of this cake. You know, that some of the money, some of the billions that's going to come into the Super League actually goes into the football associations as well. So the other clubs get some of the money that goes into that. That they will basically say, okay, you guys can have, say, I don't know, I'm just talking wild here, 10%. You guys can have 10% of the revenue. So. And you know, and that is basically paying off to keep everybody happy, because the FA, let's face it, if the FA kick out the top 6 clubs, what are they going to survive on? They're not going to. There's not going to be no money to survive on, so they're going to need the money from these top 6 clubs.
But you know what? They should have done that for the Premier League when that was formed. They did nothing about it. Let the lower teams die.
No,
exactly. I'm
not sure.
That's why it's so hypocritical.
I'd like to think so.
That's why this is so hypocritical. I mean, they didn't care about the smaller clubs back then. All of a sudden they make it all sound like they're caring about the smaller clubs. It's absolute hypocrisy. That's what it is. Same with UEFA. What did UEFA do with financial fair play? And FIFA, the most corrupt, bloody mafia group of them all. I mean, they're all paid off. Russia and Qatar were basically under the table, deals to all the members of the committee, and that's it. All of a sudden, Russia and Qatar got voted for the World Cup. I mean, it's FIFA. Bloody hell, I mean, that's the pot calling the kettle black for sure.
Yeah, they're crying now, aren't they? Typically.
What annoys me as well is the government think they can get involved as well. And like you said, where were you when Bury were fucking crying for you to help them last year when they were on the verge of fucking? All they asked for 24. All they asked was one more day, 24 hours to get things in order, and you went no, and you allowed them. You was like happy to let them because they're not a Man City, they're not a United, they're not an Arsenal example, because it's a League Two Bury.
Call it cynical, but perhaps there's more Manchester United supporters that can vote than Bury supporters that can vote in a general election. Call me cynical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it is. But my point is the hypocrisy of doing that, as you said, adding that to the equation. But then fast forward just over a year, and you're now going, oh, we can't have this. No, because it'll fuck up everyone. Even the lower leagues and the grassroots football, etc. I'm like, well, hang on, you've had how many years? The Premier League was formatted the way it was back in '92, and we're now in
20 years. What have they done for the small clubs?
Nearly 30.
Has the government ever been involved?
30 years, yeah. Nearly 30 years. 30 years next year.
You're right.
It's only crumbs. So they'll go around and show, we put money into this new training centre here, and this club has got this money and that money. But it's all just crumbs. It's all next to nothing compared to what they should have got.
I mean, in response to Brownie in the chat, it's all about Bury here. Bury had months. Yeah, they had months, but literally, because the previous owner at the time has been in such a knob and going in, out. And the thing is, the government knew it. But as soon as they actually put their foot down and said no, and the administrator said no, this still is going ahead. It needed, and even the administrator said another 24 hours and the club would have been saved. But no, the government didn't bend the knee and allowed Bury to go into non-existent, and now they've had to reform and work their way back up again. I mean, there's people also. He said, what's it Gary Neville saying yesterday in terms of Arsenal, Liverpool, and United, because they're the top three most successful clubs in the league in its history, in Premier League, not just Premier League, but in history in England. We should be used as an example and get us. We should be taking our titles taken off us, including the FA Cups, this, that, and the other, and relegated. They won't do that, but.
All right, give him. Yeah, take all his medals back then.
Yeah, exactly, because he's part of it. He was part of the most of that success.
He didn't think that one through, did he?
But also, he's saying this whilst on Sky. And Sky, Premier League is Sky's baby. Sky made this up in the first place. This is their special thing. As I said earlier, they don't want to lose the likes of us, Liverpool, maybe Tottenham. I don't care about Tottenham. Us, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, and City, because we're the big money earners. We're the big pull for the Premier League.
Yeah,
take us up the equation. As I said earlier, you're going to have Bournemouth versus Barnsley or whatever, or Swansea versus God knows, or whoever. There's no pull there. We're the big pull, not just for our big games, but as a club against any team. We're the big pull. Even from an Arsenal perspective, the state that we're in at the moment in the league itself, because of our performance have been crap for the last years, especially this year. We're still a big pull. We're still when someone takes 3 points off us, that's still a big pull for them. Especially if they've just been promoted back to the Premier League, or first time in the Premier League. I mean, remember when Hull first came up back in 2009? What came to our place 1-2-1. That's a massive thing.
1-0 down.
Yeah,
they were beating them as well.
Yeah. But I'm saying that was a massive pull for them. Whereas if teams that never played in the Premier League before come up, what is the big excitement for them to give it their all in every game? Because the teams in and around them all of the same level, with all due respect, compared to.
Yeah.
Hold on, I've just got a thought. Right, if this happens, what's the advantage of teams coming second, third, and fourth in their Premiership? Then they can't qualify for Europe. So what's the point?
I don't know. That's something you have got to
loads of games become dead rubbers.
Yeah,
potentially
you're going to have, basically, because these 6 clubs are already in that Super League, so those 6 clubs can't go into any other competition. So it's going to be a mess, isn't it? Finding out who goes into those competitions, it's going to be an absolute mess. It's going to be 6th, 8th, 10th place. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
That's right. It's going to be. You can take a calculator and work it out, and that's if the European carries on, if the European Championship carries on. I mean, if you haven't got those 12 clubs in it, I mean, you're going to get, with all due respect, not the top teams in Europe in the top European competition. So, where's the value of that?
Exactly.
I mean, will people watch it? Will people watch? No. And I'm being very rude here because we haven't qualified for the European Championship for years.
Yeah.
So will people watch the same way as, say, Barcelona against AC Milan as they would watch West Ham play Newcastle, for example? They won't do it.
No.
Only fans of their own teams will watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it won't be a spectacle. It won't be a spectacle, and you can't exactly call it a proper competition.
No. Well, there's been someone threw a banner apparently over Ellen Road saying with a hashtag "Say No to Super League" or whatever.
I think it's going to make a lot of problems. It's going to make a hell of a lot of problems. But if it means that it'll be different, change is not always good, and it is going to be a big change. But if it means that Arsenal will still be playing the same other 19 clubs that they would normally play, and instead of playing in the League of the Champions League as it is now, they're going to play in a different type of format, which is not as good. Can you accept it? Possibly. I thought we were going to come out of the Premier League completely and play these other 11 clubs 2 or 3 times a season. That was a no-no for me. That was me putting up a white flag and saying, bye-bye, no interest. This other way, now it's come out that way round, I'm not that convinced that I want to throw me season ticket over stand. I'm not convinced now, as I was 24 hours ago. But then again, something else might come out tomorrow. You don't know.
I say we don't have all the details yet. We don't have all the details.
Until in terms of ourselves, our own domestic league, we won't find out here in the UK until after the meetings come out, and obviously it's like putting bits out to Sky to report and all that. Until that happens, we don't know where we stand on that. But the thing is, if we're kicked after the statement yesterday, if us, United, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and that lot down the road get kicked out of the Premier League for this against our own will, basically. I know, but I'm saying if they were. It makes us look like a good guy because in the statements everyone's put out, all the our six-wise, where we haven't said we're coming away, we've said we're committed to the Premier League.
Yeah.
So
it makes us look like it makes our clubs look like the good people, and then
we're not breaking away. We're just expanding. That's all we could say.
Yeah. That's all, that's all, and that's where it is. But obviously UEFA, because I've watched it again, watching the stuff come out today, and then hearing the new format that the UEFA want to bring into the Champions League in a few years' time. The format that they want to do is the same thing as what's been announced yesterday by the Super League. It's the exact same thing. And basically, if you fail to qualify in the qualifying slots of your own league as well, there'll be an extra slot as well for the elite clubs if they fail. So there's no from 2024-2025 season for the Champions League. So it's pretty much the same thing, but obviously a few slight tweaks from UEFA side of it. That's what they're kicking off, but also financially they're missing out.
Well, that's it. You see, they're being hypocritical because let's cast our minds back, shall we? Before the Champions League, you only qualified for Europe if you won your league. All of a sudden, they expanded big time, changed all the rules, all the dimensions changed. Yeah. And it was, oh no, this is what we're going to do now. You know, we're becoming the top four in certain leagues, top three. It's like they've changed the basis completely. That was all right for them to do, but for someone else to have a little go, no, you can't do that. You know, this is the way it's always got to be. And they did it for money, let's face it, obviously. They would probably admit it. But they did it for money as well.
Bernie's basically saying kick us all the domestic teams from the domestic league, like obviously the Spanish teams, us, and the Italian teams would all be kicked out.
Cardiff will go up then, wouldn't they?
Well, no, I don't know if they're
high enough to do that. They're not high enough. They're not high enough in the Championship, are they?
I think they're eighth.
Yeah, it's true.
6 or 7 points off. Yeah.
The only thing is that we might lose all 38, but we would get relegated from the Premiership, though, wouldn't we?
There you go. There's a relegation battle.
We could get relegated from that. But I know what you're saying.
No, but also,
I mean, if in this new league, is it going to be a league system? This Super League? If it's a league system, if you're not going to win it, you know, with 5 games to go, you can't win it. Then you might as well not turn up. What's the point? They're rubber every game. You can't get relegated from that league, Super League.
No, the Super League itself is going to make. As Sam said earlier, it's 15 founder clubs they're trying to get, and there'll be every year 5 other clubs invited as guests to the tournament, depending on how they perform in their domestic leagues, wherever they pick them from. Basically, the best performers from out Europe, basically, the top 5 best clubs in Europe that are not in the competition get invited in, and then they get split into 2 groups of 10. And I think it's the top 3 or top 4 go through to the quarterfinals, and then there's another quarterfinal where it'll be filled after a playoff game between one team from, I think it's the 4th or 5th team and the 4th or 5th team for the other group. And they play off against each other, and it's quarterfinals and then semi-final and then the final at a neutral venue.
Yeah.
And the league-wise, I mean, if anything comes to Premier League for the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, that lot down the road, Liverpool, and the Manchester clubs, in terms of obviously top 4 wouldn't mean anything anymore. The only meaningful thing about the Premier League now will be to try and win it. So it may make us more competitive, it may not. I don't know. But
they're better players. Hopefully, some of the money will get filtered to buy players. Hopefully, we never know with our owner.
Yeah, exactly. Stefan, who's an Ipswich fan, says they won't kick them out. The clubs will have 2 first teams, one for Premier and one for Super League. Maybe down the line. I don't think they would. Again, because obviously, I don't think that would. I think it's going to be because it's basically just again it's a Champions League format. Basically, will in the sense of the European Super League will take place midweek. It'll be a Tuesday or Wednesday, respectively, and the final itself will be, I'm assuming, on a Saturday or whatever. But the actual,
You know what is quite funny?
so it won't
sorry.
it won't actually interfere with the league itself in that sense. So there's no reason for that to be a case in that sense.
You know what is quite strange? Is that there might be a few more games now because of the Super League, with the places you're talking about. But I don't know about you lot. I can't stand it. Football's become boring. Number one, you've got the VAR, which can't stand. It's just useless. Number two, I watched parts of both semi-finals the weekend, which I used to love. They were rubbish. They were rank.
Yep.
Football's become very sterilised the last year or so. Obviously to do with the crowd, but it has become sterilised. I'm just thinking, do I really want to watch all football games now? I don't. I pick my games now, and sometimes, very rarely, do I watch a game all the way through, unless obviously it's Arsenal. Sometimes I don't fancy doing that, but do it out of habit, really. But games are on like tonight. I watched 20 minutes of the Liverpool game, Leeds game. As I say, I watched about 20 minutes each of the semi-finals. They were boring, you know. And the League Cup on is it Sunday? The League Cup
This Sunday coming, yeah.
I'll be watching that if and when Spurs score. Yeah, I'm going to watch 90 minutes of that.
Well, will they do it? Mourinho's not there now, so he's been booted today as well.
Ironic if they win. I mean, that's the only team that he's managed. He's not been able to win anything with.
Yeah,
so I've got it. So I've got it on. I just want to tell this, lads. I've got it on very good authority that what happened at Spurs today was that the players didn't want to train. The players actually protested against the announcement. The players didn't want to train. Mourinho backed the players. He didn't want to train either with the players. They wanted to have a meeting with the club executives to go through what was happening. You know, they wanted to have a meeting instead of training. They wanted to have a meeting about what's going on to get some clarification. And basically what Levy did and the executive board said, no, you guys have to train, forced them to train, basically. And Mourinho was really pissed off, really, really visibly pissed off about it. And said, he can't, he just doesn't feel like he's up for this. He's really, really pissed off. And Lee basically took him in and said, okay, sorry, then that's it. We can't continue with you. He basically gave him the impetus to get rid of him. And it's that is, of course, it's to do with the Super League and everything. Because you wouldn't sack Mourinho just a few days before a cup final, would you? I mean, it's down to that. And apparently there was a lot at Tottenham today. There was a lot of shouting and a lot of really, there was a lot of people unhappy there today with the playing staff. Amongst the playing staff, they were really, really pissed off with Levy and everything. So yeah, I'm wondering if that's been going on behind closed doors at Tottenham. I wonder what's been happening at the other clubs, because again, no one's been told. The managers haven't been told. The coaching staff, the players, no one's been told until after it was made public.
Something, I'm quite surprised because I don't know any of the players who play presently of any of the clubs, but my thoughts are some of them might be thinking, God, we could double our wages here, treble our wages here, just keep quiet. Really, they give a lot more money.
Of course, some of them are thinking the money. Of course, that's what they're doing. Some of them, but and some of them, I think, actually do think it's a terrible thing as well. Because you lose so much of the competitiveness. The merit, the whole merit part of it goes out the window, doesn't it?
I mean, there's never a level playing field. The Premiership the last 10 years since Abramovich came on site. It's going to be even worse now because if Arsenal get 350 million. The likes of West Ham, Leicester, or name but a few, they're finished. They've got no chance of doing well in the league. They are a real mess. It's going to be so unbalanced. And even if Arsenal are the recipients of it, I'm not happy. Honestly, Not happy at all.
Hence why I think the FA is going to be, they're going to, come to some deal where they get some of this money coming through to help the clubs, a little bit of the money. I think that's, they won't accept that the big six just taking all that money. And like you say, they're going to be making 100 million a year, easy, profit, so.
What if the club say no, Sam? We're not giving 100 million a year, sort yourself. We should keep it for ourselves.
Well, then they can throw. I don't know. I'm just saying that would be a way probably for them to reach an agreement without, because you could have strikes and all kind of crap going. I mean, what if the players decide they don't want to do this? They can strike. The players
strike around the contract, they lose a fortune, so they ain't going to do that.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, there's all different ways that could happen. Things could happen now, couldn't it? FIFA. Sorry, Ryan. FIFA's threatening to not let any of the players play international games. That's what they're threatening.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, Frankie in the chat says as well, the BBC present it as the end of football, but all that is being proposed is that 12 teams no longer want to play with UEFA, basically, and want to have their own private competition instead.
In simple terms,
that's what it is. Definitely agree with them on that. After
in simple terms, that's what it is. Yeah.
10 hours.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's been presented.
It's a bit dramatic in the BBC.
Yeah. It's like you were saying earlier, Melvin. Before the official announcement came out, it's been presented by Sky, BT, BBC. They're all putting it out there like this is a breakaway from the Premier League. That the clubs, from our perspective, clubs wanted to leave the Premier League and form their own league with other European giants, and that's going to be it. The end of the day sort of thing. But when obviously the statement come out, we read through it. No, it ain't. It's just a Champions. That's another. As I said, keep saying it. It's another version of their own version of the Champions League, basically a midweek competition, European competition between themselves, and then 5 other teams, whatever, every season. And those happen to be the founders of the competition. So we say, the only reason UEFA kick it off this time is because they haven't been involved in the discussions this time. They were last summer. They were part of the discussion. This time they're not. That's why they're kicking off.
They're losing their monopoly. They had a monopoly, so they're losing their monopoly, aren't they? That's what they're worried about.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
They're getting a bit of the pie. They say nothing. They wipe their mouth. They're getting a bit of the pie.
Yeah. Mark in the chat's also saying, do you honestly think that 350 million Kroenke will give any to the next Arsenal manager or any Arsenal manager?
I don't know. Probably not.
But the thing is, we've got to be careful as well. He's 100%. He is a majority shareholder. He's not majority. He's the actual owner of the club, 100%. We've got to be careful how we go about this as well, because like when he took over St. Louis Rams, he moved when they kicked off and dug the heels in, and didn't bend the knee, so to speak. I'm not saying bend the knee. We should bend the knee, but how we got approach things has got to be a lot different to how the St. Louis fans did. Because what did he go and do? He picked that club up and moved it to LA. He's built a whole new stadium.
And that, of course, was a terrible thing. But that is a very American thing. That is something the Yanks do. Because teams are franchises, they move them around. It's happened, with a lot of teams in different sports. They've moved them all around. That's a very American thing to do. I think we'll see with the Super League. I can see it's probably not going to happen in the first season, but maybe the second season and the third season going forwards, when it becomes this global brand, because football's global now, right? It's a global brand. It's a global market, right? It's not just the European market anymore. It's all over the world. It's worldwide. So what's going to happen is I think you're going to see a few games every season. They're going to be played in different parts of the world, to create that spectacle, in the different parts of the world, to get the fans in the different part of the world going for the merchandise and the brand and everything. So we'll probably see games played in Dubai, Doha. We'll probably see them in South Africa, in what's it called? Like in Durban, or what's it called? In South Africa. I forget the main cities there now. I've gone right off the top of my head here, but the Durban, and as well, that's Cape Town, Johannesburg. I was thinking about play a game in Johannesburg. They'll play a game in Singapore, a game in Hong Kong, a game in Tokyo. They'll play a game in LA, a game in New York. You know, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna go around the world with different teams, like they're basically done with the NFL. You know, and you know, because it's a global brand now, right? So that's what they want to do.
And it's also got. I find it a bit ironic because, well, obviously, as you said, you mentioning that now. Some of these when the American football comes to London, for example, when they do games at Wembley or whatever. How many of them people that go and watch that are diehard, like the American football, also diehard Tottenham fans or Arsenal fans or Liverpool or Chelsea or whatever? I don't see them complaining then, but because it's now going to happen to their actual the thing they actually have a proper connection with in their club. Oh, it's the worst thing in the world. What are they doing? I mean, we've seen we got. The thing is, it's been in the making, even domestically. I mean, Scudamore a few years back wanted to bring in a 39th game every season, and that 39th game, you'd have to pay one of the other 19 teams, one of them, for a third time in a foreign country.
Yeah.
They, as you said, they wanted to use the brand of the Premier League to pull in more.
But look how big it is. I mean, look how much the Premier League teams. Look how many fans come to those games when they play around the world, right? When we went to Singapore and when we went to America. I mean, there was thousands and thousands. We filled up those stadiums. You know, it's the fans are there now. The Premier League is a global brand now. It really is.
Yeah. Thank you, saying Jake Paul versus Ben Askren raised more money than a world title boxing match. That's because of more so because of literally the first name mentioned, because of the following he has on his own platform that he's built up over the years. He's got his fan base tuning into the boxing and things like that. And plus the people that don't like him wanted to tune in to see if he actually lost. But obviously, that it is what it is. It's all about because he knows how to promote things as well. People like that know how to promote things. Boxers aren't there to promote their fights. It's down to promoters, and the promoters aren't doing what an influencer is doing. Clearly, they sort of learn from that and that side of things. But going back to the football, as I said at the start of this ain't going to get any. This is going to get a lot more messier before it gets any better, guys.
Yeah,
and they've also 100%. They've also jumped in on this now because there's no fans, and they know the fans are coming back soon because there were 4,000 in that Leicester-Southampton semi-final at Wembley. There were 4,000 fans there, right? There are no fans
on Sunday.
They know fans. They know fans are on their way back, right? So now they've jumped in and got this done before the fans. Because you can imagine if they would have done this if there were fans at these grounds.
Yeah. Imagine
it would have been chaos.
No, yeah, literally. I was just about to say. Imagine if literally they hadn't announced this and announced it the day before the last game of the season when all the fans, there's loads more fans coming in.
Yeah,
that would have gone down fantastically well, wouldn't it? But yeah, Melvin, sorry, I've got.
No, I'm just saying, when the fans have sat back and thought about it, perhaps they won't be so against it, really. I know there are bad things, don't get me wrong.
Well,
but like me, I was thrown off what happened last night, that we're not going to play in the Premier League anymore. I think a lot of people are... I think you're right, Melvin. I think a lot of people have misunderstood this. I think a lot of people still think that we don't want to be in the Premier League anymore, and that's just completely not true. We do want to be in the Premier League.
And the fact that some of them also, they sort of buy into this scaremongering that UEFA trying to pull over the last 24 hours as well, and saying, well, if you want this, you can't play for your country, you can't play in the domestic leagues, you can't play domestic cups. Well, hang on. End of the day, it's not up to you. Like Sam said earlier, it's down to the domestic leagues themselves independently.
Yeah, exactly.
The trouble is with that, right, is that UEFA have shot all their bullets now.
Yeah, in one hit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like when you threaten a child. Oh, you've got to do this. You can't have any sweets. You can't watch TV. And if the kid goes, all right, then you're in a mess, aren't you? What do you do?
Yeah,
you got nothing left.
Exactly. I mean, I guarantee this. What day? We're on Monday, aren't we? So this time next week, we'll be getting ready for Europa League semi-final first leg. It'll go ahead. Oh, here we go. Sky statement. The last 24 hours, Sky Sports have passionate the views of football fans. Oh, Sky doing that. Oh, here we go. I can't be asked to Sky.
So Thursday we're playing. Is it next Thursday?
Friday.
Thursday's
We're playing on
Thursday.
Friday.
Friday,
We're playing on
Friday.
Everton on Friday. But what
Everton
about the
Friday.
UEFA semi? When's that?
Well,
Oh,
UEFA
that's
next Thursday,
Yeah,
but
we
Thursday,
UEFA, as I said, UEFA are threatening to pull us all out apparently, which ain't going to happen because it don't look good for them because they don't get the again. If they do that, they won't get revenue because
It's going to be, you know what it'll be? It'll be a Villarreal Roma final, and that's
No one
just
will
going to be
tune in.
nowhere. No one's going to watch that.
Yeah. And they know that. This is the thing. Out of all the finals that will get the big pull is a Man United Arsenal final. Let's be honest.
You know what
If it
That's
was-
what
do? They're not clever. What they ought to have done is let the semi-finals play out,
Hmm.
and if United and Arsenal get to the final, pull them out. Right? You have a Villarreal Roma final, because if they pull out United and Arsenal now, they'll have 2 games that they can't televise, and they'll be breaking their contract.
Yeah.
This way, they don't
That's
lose
true.
any. They
Yeah.
should have done it that way around.
That's true.
Get all the bullets. If they can't play, there's no semi-final, and it's just a final. I don't think the television company's going to be very happy. They're broken.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Legally, they're bound to do it. That's what I'm saying. Legally, they could be sued by the television companies.
Thank you in the chat saying he said I heard Mark Goldberg say he will destroy Man United if the Super League took. How could he possibly destroy Man United? Yeah, he has a platform, but it's nowhere near big enough to take down Man United. I'm sorry.
Oh, what's he got? Has he got 30 million viewers or something?
He's got 300. He's got basically 300, about 300,000 subscribers, basically, roughly.
All right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
But even
Out of those
but even-
300,000, how many will agree with him?
Not all of them.
Exactly. So good luck. I wish him luck.
exactly that's what I'm saying. How that's like
I want to fly to the moon.
That's like me saying that. That's like me saying that. Okay, I'm going to pull every Arsenal channel to go off privately. Pull all these Arsenal channels, like AFTV if I have to as well. Gooner's podcast, Gooner Talk, Hybrid Squad with Kevin Campbell and all that. All the other Albert JTV, Ryan from the other Ryan Williams from his channel. It was on here before. Literally every Arsenal channel, Richard as well, Andrew, put them all pull together, and we'll take down Arsenal then. As one. Come on.
Like Stan gives a toss. Honestly, he doesn't give a toss.
That's the same format for Man United. Like the Glazers give a toss about them. The fact they've put Man United in more debt than they had in the first place since the dad bought the club in the first place says it all. And that was out in 2005. When 2021, grow up. It is what it is. You can't. It's all worse as well. I mean, literally, the guy as well. Literally, apparently, came out against he's totally against this Goldbridge, and he was saying, "Oh, the big six, they're the problem, and they're the poison of football." Basically saying everything these two idiots are saying on Sky, Carragher and Neville. But what's he done tonight? Oh, watch along with Leeds versus one of them 6 teams. It's hypocritical because it gets him a bit of revenue. Oh, here we go. Redmond, okay. Redmond TV was threatening to organise a riot. Oh my God, give me strength. And what's that going to do? Because again, this clearly shows the owners don't give a shit. So if you go and riot, you're the ones getting arrested for fucking. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And plus, it's in fucking it's in COVID time as well. Plus, there's because you won't be social distance writing, would it? I'm saying it won't be social distance writing, so you're going to get arrested anyway.
Yeah, it's just futile. It's just futile because the owners don't care. You know, they're well beyond their means to not care. But what I was going to say was, I really admire the German clubs, the way they're structured with their 51% fan model. You know, that 51% of every German club is owned by the fans.
Yeah.
And this is why none of the German clubs are going to take part in this Super League unless they get invited. You know, unless they're one of the clubs that get invited in and out type of thing. But as part of the founders, no, they've said no already. Bayern Munich said no. Dortmund has said no. So
they're one of the top teams. They're one of the top leagues, aren't they, Sam?
Yeah.
It's very cheap to watch a game in Germany.
Oh yeah, they've kept it all very cheap. Yeah. You know, it's
fantastic.
Yeah, they've kept it for the people. They've really kept it for the people.
And again, the government.
How can they afford to have the greatest? They've got some of the best footballers in Europe, Germany. Let's face it. I know a lot of them they produce themselves, they bought a few as well, not many. How can they have the top players that we would love at our club, or many English clubs would love, and yet the fans cost them relatively nothing to get in compared to what we pay? How can they do it? Their model must be fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah, they've got it set up correctly.
Yeah, that's another thing that came out of this government statement today as well. That we've been talking with other with fans in England as well, and we looked at what Germany are doing. We wanted to inherit that, but we wanted to implement going towards these clubs and implement that at the end of this season. But with what's happened in the last 24 hours, we're on a speed forward. You've had this. If you've had this information, why are you sitting on your arse then? If you're so fucking passionate, if you're so hell bent on changing things and doing things for the people, and football for the fans, and being the people's government, you've sat on your arse with stuff that you was holding on to the end of the season, which is a month and a half away, but you've had this information for how long? Six plus months. So don't give me this. Oh, we're doing it for the people. We're doing it for yourselves to make yourselves look good, because you're upcoming local elections coming up. You want to make yourselves look good. Don't treat us like we're fucking idiots. Seriously. I mean, there are some idiots that buy into it, but come on. Some of us do actually have brains and read between the lines here. But Cheddar's as well, saying in the chat as well. Cheddar's is a Liverpool fan, by the way, as well. For anyone that doesn't know, who's in the channel, he says, "What is it with people who couldn't win a pillar fight, trying to start riots?" Oh,
a social distance rioting, like.
Yeah.
They're going to too close to you. Sorry, I'm going to
keyboard writing. That is keyboard writing.
Oh dear. Thank you is also saying Germany also protects its industries. Yeah. Well, welcome to Britain, Maggie Thatcher and all that. And what was the party she runs? Oh yeah. What's happening now? Oh yeah.
They've also got the. They've also got in Germany. They have a law where all the corporations, they have to have on their board, they have to have someone from the from at the ground level, basically.
Yeah.
One of the basic staff is voted in to represent the staff like a union member, basically.
Yeah.
And they have to be part of the board. They have to be represented on the board. So, it's a fantastic thing. The Germans, they've got a lot sorted out, haven't they?
What's on telly now? An advert with Jose Mourinho on it.
Oh, the betting app. Yeah.
Are you George Bernard? Oh my God.
Oh, good.
What's he advertising now?
I wonder where he's going to go. I wonder where Mourinho's going to go now. He'll probably go to Italy, probably.
Nowhere in England.
I think he'll go to Portugal, maybe.
Nowhere in England. Nowhere in England.
Portugal. That's where he comes from, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe Portugal.
Paddy Power.
Paddy Power.
Warren, I love that comment. The new franchise is going to be joining the Beijing Bats. I love that. Beijing Bats.
Oh, this one. What about this one? Swandiff, not Cardiff or Swansea. Swandiff.
Oh, God.
All right. Yes. Yeah. As economic, as financially they are in a recession. So are we. But the thing is, we're in a recession.
Countries are. Have you heard of COVID? Have you heard of COVID?
even before COVID, we're in a recession. Let's put it right here in the UK. But the thing, and so in Germany are on the cusp of it. But they're in a recession. But you know what? They're still doing right. As I said, they're still doing right. The clubs are doing right by the fans. They're not demanding, "Oh, we must have all these shares now. We need your money. Back off," and all that malarkey. They're actually still doing right. Whereas our clubs don't do that. And done that for years.
How come you weren't in a recession before COVID?
It was just coming out of it, weren't in and out. Well,
nowhere near it.
Yeah.
No recession. We weren't in a great way.
Well, not in massive. I mean, it's worse under Cameron. Don't get me wrong, but it was just coming out of it. And obviously, COVID just went, "Fuck you." No, you're gonna fucking financially struggle a bit more. You've suffered enough, but you'll keep you struggling a little bit more. Come on. Oh bloody hell, mold. Oh my God,
moldy ass.
Oh
Jesus.
Well, I mean, we're going to change the subject here, but I think that thing you said about the Germans have, or the corporation, got to have someone from the shop floor on the board. I wish, I wish that the National Health Service would have more doctors and nurses on the admin side, because they actually know what goes on. They actually
you're right.
save the National Health Service so much money. You got people at the top looking down who ain't got a clue.
No, exactly. Too much bureaucracy. Too much bureaucracy just ruins it.
BP. Yeah. There's a chairman called John Brown of BP years ago. He came in, and the first thing he did, he got rid of all the layers of bureaucracy at BP. Just got rid of them. He said, I don't know what you're here for. And he turned that company round. He absolutely did a great job. I think perhaps the National Health Service has got that. I mean, in my opinion, there's two different parts of the National Health Service. There's the people that are doing stuff and the people upstairs that are looking down and telling them what to do and not doing it properly. I could save so much money getting rid of people.
It's all about paperwork and reporting, isn't it? Statistics, reporting, pushing papers. GPs and doctors now spend most of the time filling out paperwork. They don't treat patients.
What about teachers, Sam?
Yeah.
What they've got to do?
Yeah, I know.
It's got nothing to do with teaching kids.
Sorry, I've just seen something.
Yeah.
I'll get to it quicker. I've just seen something literally on Danny from Burkett Wonderland's Twitter. I'll put it up on the screen. A bit of a laugh, to be honest. I'll see if I get it up. Fucking slow. Bloody work. Come on. Jesus.
Schnell.
Oh dear. Here we are. Put it up there. Then in the last, I'll bloody share it on the screen for you guys. Have a bit. So what you make of this? There we go.
Oh, Brownie, shut up, you twat.
This is Danny from the Burkett Wonderland, by the way. He says, club statement in the summer of 2028. Stan Kroenke and KSC would like to welcome LA Arsenal Cannons to the new stadium in Los Angeles. The new blue and yellow kit launch is coming soon. Go Cannons!
Oh no!
Oh dear! I saw that I had a gig. I thought I'd got to show you guys as well. A bit of a laugh.
Yeah, it's a laugh. I mean, it is a laugh. I just made that brand new stadium. Cost what, $5 billion or something?
And it's us.
Bloody hell.
Oh, Brownie guy. Here we go. And I remember Spain that you're still waiting on Germany to help supply the vaccines. Oh my God, give me strength. Don't get me going again.
It's not what we're talking about, mate. We're not talking about that, okay, Brownie? Okay? Stick to the point, eh?
One stream, no COVID, please. Oh, dear. But yeah, I mean, Klopp's talking now. I don't know what he's saying, but anyway. Milner's apparently come out and had a slate of the club as well, so he'll be off in the summer as well. If he's not on
how
board,
old is he now, Milner? Is he 36?
He's not that old, is he?
You know, he's got. I don't know.
Well, Milner, I reckon he's close to it. He's been going for donkey's years, Milner.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, no, let's see how old he is. Milner, there we go.
Oh yeah, so I don't know what to say now, but literally, it wasn't obviously from what we've as a summary. It wasn't as bad as it was being laid out, but still, it could, if we get kicked out of the league, be fucking shit. Because by December, our season could be dead. Because all we could have basically is this Super League, and if we're out of the fucking, we can't even get past the group. We're done for the fucking season. Because I don't think Premier League are that stupid to go. Yeah, let's kick you out. We'll make an example out of you. Because it doesn't financially, it won't benefit them long term.
Milner's 35, by the way.
35. Oh yeah, 35 years. I've seen in the chat. He's going 36, but even Klopp. I mean, Klopp's got to be careful as well. Unless he wants to be sacked in the morning. To be honest, after what happened to Mourinho earlier, it wouldn't surprise me.
I hope Klopp and these people have actually read through it and know what they're talking about before they make big statements.
Well, the ones, I mean, Gary Neville and all, and Carragher, I mean, they're talking on behalf of Sky, basically. It's not a PR thing that they get told a script and they've got to go off that script, basically, because all they say is the same bloody thing. And then one mind, as I said earlier,
They can't be in favour of it,
the
can
Premier
they?
League,
They lose their
Sky,
jobs.
yes, Sky. It's Sky. I mean, Premier League is Sky's baby. The Premier League needs us in it, because if we're not in it financially nowadays, it'll fuck them over, and they know it. So them kicking off ain't going to help things. So let's just go, okay then, you go, bye bye. And then there's the Premier League. And the Premier League, if they kick us out, the Premier League will be non-existent in a few years' time. Basically, they'll have to
Exactly,
reformat
there'll
and
be no point
rebrand it all.
Exactly.
Let's-
They have
and let's
to
not
turn into
forget,
something different.
As you said, when the Premier League was formatted, it's for the top 20 teams at that time. Obviously, they did the relegation things. So 3 teams every season have a chance to come up and have a shot at the Premier League and this, that, and the other. But it was basically a league format breaking away, ironically, from the Football League, from the other 72 teams.
Yeah, they created their own organisation, the Premier League.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But suddenly, nearly 30 years down the line, some of these clubs are now doing it themselves, going independent themselves. It's like, they can't do that to us. It's against football.
Yeah.
Football's dying. Fucking you started
It's a bit silly. It's a bit silly.
It's just
I
like
see
you
Arsenal.
started it.
I just saw Arsenal tweeted about an hour ago or so.
I'll have a look.
They're
Oh,
saying
go
this afternoon, the owner and the board had a virtual meeting with some of our official fan groups. And after having listened to all their concerns, the club have decided they will remain one of the 12 founding clubs of the
Remain. They will
Yeah.
remain. Okay.
They will
Arsenal,
remain
what
one of
they've
the
got
12
to
founding clubs.
We've heard what they said and we've ignored them.
Yeah.
Basically,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what I
It's
put
always,
in it.
again, that was always going to happen anyway.
Yeah, of course.
There's no surprise there, really, is it? But
Anyway,
I
here we go.
I just can't be asked with them. I mean, people will be like, "Oh, how are you shocked by that?" It's look who runs the fucking club. This is the guy when we had public fucking meetings every year, the annual meetings. He's the one that's come along from the States and just sit there and ignore you all. I wouldn't even engage in conversation at all. He'd look away, look at Sir Chips, and get him to fucking speak on his behalf and basically go to the independent papers and if you want to listen to what I have to say, and go and things like that. But you're now surprised that he's not listening to you now. There are hints are always there. The clues are there.
We're his
But,
customers. Don't forget we're his customers. We're not his clients,
Exactly.
we're his customers.
Oh, football
That's-
became commercialised a long time ago, didn't it? As I was saying,
Yeah.
it's no surprise.
No. And the thing is, this happening over the obviously the last 24 hours, all stems. Well, we're saying 30 years in the making, but it really started going through the roof and had a chance of really happening when Roman Abramovich hit the scene, and then 4 years later, the consortium that owns Man
Yeah,
City.
that's what I'm saying. Where was all the protests back then when Abramovich could just basically come in and buy the league,
with blood money,
right?
by the way.
And then a few years later, we have an oil country basically come in and take over and buy the league with Man City. I mean, where was all the uproar back then? And the financial fair play has been an absolute joke. It's never really worked. It's it's a complete farce. UEFA having a go at like this is just a complete hypocritical farce. That's what it is, and it's just stupid. That's what it is. It's because it's the pot calling the kettle black. That's what it is. It's absolutely ridiculous, And I mean, it's. I think they've jumped in now to do this. I think they've accelerated their plans to do this and gone all in now because I think COVID really has affected these teams a lot financially. It really has. You've got Barcelona with $1 billion in debt. You've got Real Madrid who weren't exactly in the greatest of shapes before this. Tottenham are in debt. You can see the club. There's a lot of clubs in a lot of trouble compared to what they were before. Losing a lot of money. The revenue streams were not the same. And this was a way they figured out to get a lot more money, cover all the holes, get a lot more bonuses, a lot more money in for what they want, and they did it now because of COVID. I'm sure of it. If there wasn't COVID, if this had been a normal season, I don't think this would have happened now. It would have happened eventually, probably, but it wouldn't have happened now. This has happened because of you've got Barcelona and Real Madrid who really need. I mean, Perez is the main
guy.
Main guy behind it. He wanted it in 2005 as well, already back then. And so it's no coincidence that you got Barcelona with $1 billion in debt and Real Madrid not in the best of shape. Wanting to do this now, and and all the other clubs who are struggling, they're not exactly looking good financially. Jumping in with it as well, and it's a huge payday for them. JP, like you said, JP Morgan have gone in with $6 billion in investment. There's a couple of other companies that are going to go in as well, and the real money is going to come from the when they get their own television deal. When they sell the rights to this European Super League to whoever buys that, it's going to be billions and billions is going to flow into that league then amongst those teams, and that's it. That's what they want.
Neil's in the chat as well. Big up Neil as well. And I mean, Warren's put something in the chat. I can't put it on the screen, but he's put something in the chat. I can't put it on the screen. I'm sorry, I can't. No. Warren, he's put something in the chat, and I cannot put it on the screen because I'll get in a lot of trouble with YouTube.
I've seen it. I think I've seen it.
Yeah, don't say anything, please.
Is that global warming, isn't it? Is that clue global warming?
Global warming, yeah, that's a clue.
That's a clue, yeah.
Oh my God, bloody hell, Warren.
Oh dear, but with that, I think we're going to start wrapping things up now because otherwise we'll start repeating ourselves, and it is getting late, and you guys are going to get bored because it's like the first stream now. I've been. There's
going to be developments now throughout the coming weeks, isn't there? So there's going to be plenty more to discuss. So
in that sense, but in that sense, there won't be a problem. Just obviously 3 streams. I mean, the first one was it even an actual Super League string meant to be? It's basically the watch along for the Cup semi-final yesterday, and it just turned into that basically because the game was so fucking dull. But then obviously, when Warren was saying obviously that around quarter to 9 or whatever, at 9:45 there'll be news coming out, a statement coming out. So I thought I'd do another stream, set it all up, and it was like 11:30 at night. I was like, oh, fuck. So just announce it, and me and Colin just stayed on till the end, and it came through, and then allowed us to have this sink in basically in the everything what it is. And I thought, come back on all the developments we've had today as well, not just from UEFA, but the Premier League and the government and everyone else. I thought, why not come on and get not just your guys' thoughts, but actually just have a proper discussion about it. But and also pinpoint where the problem lies in the terms of the bad, the con side of it is the ownership of our clubs, of respective clubs. They're all greedy, and this rams it home in that sense. And like Sam just said, if it weren't for COVID and this hadn't happened, this won't be happening now. It'd be happening down the line, at some point down the line in normal times, but not now. They just thought, fuck it, we need the money, we want money. I know. This will do. And the thing is, you know what? In terms of streaming services, probably wrap up quickly. The streaming service is going to be a battle this summer for who actually has the rights for this. Netflix, you might imagine Netflix, Amazon, and all that's palaver. Even I've seen
Amazon blow the others out of the water. That's so big.
And that's another reason why Sky, because Sky now they can't. Sky cannot compete alongside.
Oh, Sky a small fry compared to them.
Yeah. And imagine like for example, Netflix and Amazon do a co-partnership, and they share the rights basically, and they do a season ticket sort of thing every year, of say £10-15 a season, whatever, or depending on how many games there is, like £1 per game sort of basic aspect sort of thing. The amount of money
they'll set it up like you have now. They'll set it up now. They'll set it up now because it's all going to go online now. The technology's there, right? That's the next step. It's all going to be online. It's all going to be controlled through their own, it's going to be their own business basically, and then they get them the rights come into it, and it's all going to be controlled by them. And it's going to be like they do now with the NFL and the NHL and all of that. It's going to be you can pay for a subscription to watch all the games. That will cost you a certain amount of money. Or if you just want to watch your own team, you just pay for a subscription like a season ticket for your own team. You just watch your own team's games. That'll be a little bit cheaper, Or if at the bottom level you just want to watch a game here and there, you can just pay pay per view, pay per game as well. That'll be the lowest fee, and it's all going to be split up like that, and it's all going to be online.
Well, Neil in the chat is also saying Facebook and Disney Plus are apparently in the mix too. Imagine that fucking Real Madrid at Arsenal on Disney Plus. Fucking hell. Jeez, I saw the memes today. Literally, this is Sergio Ramos and Salah, and this is Disney Plus, basically. Going into my days of that. Oh my. But yeah, I mean, Melvin, I know you got to go as well. So where can people find you?
You can find me here. You can find me on Rich's channel over and over again, Arsenal. Also Andrews as well, from Dial Square to Where. And there I am. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. I'm a bit tired now.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Got to get me Horlicks before I go to bed. Get up nice and early in the morning. Thanks a lot. Nice to see you, Sam. Thanks, Ryan.
Cheers, Mel. Cheers, Mel. Nice to see you.
Cheers, Mel. And Sam, what about yourself? Where can people find you as well?
Yeah, I'm just mainly here with you doing stuff. Sometimes on with the Blind Gooner, and I'm a bit on now with a new podcast, The Red Cannon, with Scott Mason. He's doing a good job over there. And sometimes I'm on with a couple of other channels here. And I'm on the Arsenal Fan Circle Thursday nights, the American lads. Worth having a look at them. They're good. The Yanks having their point of view. And I'm also on Twitter, as you can see here. My Twitter handle, just where my ugly face is, at 1980_Greenwood. If you want to follow me on Twitter, we can discuss Arsenal and stuff. Always good fun. And it's, as always, Ryan, it's always fun being here, fun discussing Arsenal. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely no problem. I hope to have you back on again soon, some point this week or in the future soon.
Yep.
And obviously, if you're new to the channel and if you enjoyed what I've been doing for the last 24 hours, I mean, the views have been mad, by the way. Warren, by the way, over 1,400 people have watched that stream, by the way, to watch along, which is basically us talking about this, basically. But if you're new to the channel, do subscribe, do hit the like button, and do share the content around, and we'll be back. Possibly, depending on the developments tomorrow, because obviously the Premier League meeting, I might do a little stream tomorrow, I might not, I don't know yet. And apart from that, I'm trying to think now. I'll try and fit in a preview for the Everton game between either tomorrow or Thursday, and then the watch along on Friday evening, and then the weekend I'll sort something out, a quiz or something with Mike, hopefully, and we'll go from there. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your what's after your Monday evenings or morning, wherever you are in the world. And as always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners.
Come on, you Gunners.